All right. I think we're live here on the backup channel because, in case y'all didn't know, my previous stream on the main channel was deleted by YouTube probably because I was talking about the magnet trick. And I can't really say. Well, we can like talk about it, but we have to pretend like we don't believe in it.
Crazy conspiracy stuff.
Yeah, so this is crazy conspiracy. Definitely not true. Definitely not true. I didn't confirm it for myself. I swear. That never happened. My sister-in-law didn't confirm it. For me, and my dad's coworker didn't confirm it for me. But there was these stories going around that people are sticking magnets to their arm where they receive the roll-up-your-sleever.
Fake news.
Fake news. Totally fake news. So Shawn, do you not know anybody that this has not happened to?
Actually, no, I don't. I'm gonna say the only person I know that was a real close friend of mine that I could confirm or not confirm. He didn't know about it. He never heard about it, and I was like, "Dude, you gotta try it." But we was out, and we didn't have no magnets on us. So It's like just remind me, man. It's like text me and I'll try it. And I forgot to text him. So, but I will now.
Well, apparently,
maybe I'll text him while we're live here and see if he.
Yeah, text him. I mean, and well, just lie about it if it ends up being true. But
absolutely did it, but he must have been faking it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, so the crazy conspiracy theory apparently says that this is happening to some people, but not everyone that received the roll-up-your-sleever. And my sister-in-law definitely isn't true, but my sister-in-law got the Moderna roll-up-your-sleever, and yeah,
I feel like that's the one he got too.
Yeah. So apparently, for some people with the Moderna, according to the crazy conspiracy theory, that obviously must not be true. It's after the second shot that this isn't happening. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know.
Like I said, I mean, it is funny because I mean, I know it's not happening to anybody, but. Like I was telling you before we went live, there's people at work and they're like, oh, it's fake, which it's definitely fake, but they're saying that they knew a couple people and it didn't work on them. So it makes you wonder, it's like, I know it's not happening, but if it was happening, why would it be happening to only some people?
Well, yeah, I talked about it on my stream on the main channel, and the video was taken down like 5 hours later. And obviously, when I talked about it, I didn't frame it in the right way, and basically said it was true in that video, and so that's why it was taken down. So that's why we have to pretend and say things certain ways, or else we'll be deleted like from YouTube on this channel. So
I saw yours up to almost about that point, and then I had to go to bed. But I was watching for a little bit. But I mean, obviously, like I think you were saying, we could speculate what's not happening, but
yeah. And guys,
like that. Just how Melinda Gates says, that technology that can go inside you that doesn't exist.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if it were true, like, we could say it's like nanobots, right? Well, I don't know what it could be if it were true. Like maybe, I mean, that's the only explanation.
Yeah, I mean, and I was kind of talking to my wife about that, and she just kind of like said the same thing that I was kind of thinking, like, wouldn't that stuff like boom go away like from that spot quickly and
right.
But I'm like, but would it? I don't know. It's like depending on what its purpose it would be. I mean,
Right, and then so it would be like, you know, there would be like the roll up your sleever. It goes into the body, and you know then it clumps up. Whatever is put in there would clump up, and then take maybe a few days to a few weeks to start spreading out throughout the body by the body's natural processes. Right. So for that time period, that's why there are some who would say that you know, we only have a few months maybe while people are receiving this to tell people about it and to be able to prove it, because, you know, after some time that will start spreading out and then nobody will be magnetic anymore.
yeah, and that's the thing. The people at work, you know, depend how long was it since they had got
Yeah.
the jab before they actually tried it. You know,
Right.
that's what I would like to know. So
Well,
it's
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you know that's the interesting question. And obviously it would be, it's not going to be like every person, according to that theory. You know, it's not
Right.
going to be every person that gets it, because everybody's biology is different, and everybody might have gotten it at a different time, and everybody might have gotten a different
I
brand.
mean, yeah, it's just like the adverse reactions that
Right.
don't happen.
Right, that definitely don't happen. Yeah.
That definitely don't happen. That I know for a fact that it's happened, but it didn't happen because they're obviously conspiracy.
Because we're not allowed to say that.
They must have checked themselves in the hospital because
Yeah.
you know they just wanted attention.
Yeah, exactly. So
But yeah, so I mean, their body's going to react different. I mean, it's just like any other drug.
you know what I'm seeing though? I don't know about you, but I'm seeing a shift. I think in a lot of different things in regards to this whole fiasco. I really am seeing. Well, I think well, obviously things are opening back up, but also even with the roll up your sleever, you're seeing people not virtue signal it as much as they were. I feel like off the cuff, people were signaling left and right. Oh, look at me! I got the jab. I'm the coolest person ever. But now I'm not seeing any of that anymore. And people, I think everybody who's wanted to get the jab has gotten it, and
and I think that's the thing. It's like it's one of those, like, you know, kid at the candy store. They's waiting for that new item to get it, or they ran out and got it. But those are the ones that wanted it.
Yeah.
It's like now it's like I was
just
just literally reading something about that like today, this CNN article, because you got to read that garbage to kind of see where their mindset is and see what they're talking about. So you got to read that stuff that I don't want to read, because it infuriates me to read these articles that are like basically saying we have to get this to a certain number. We got to get 80% of the people to take it. How can we? Basically, it's a propaganda campaign on how can we get these people that don't want to take it to take it. Like, and they're basically in a roundabout way not coming out and say it, but basically saying we need to get the workplaces to make the people get it. We got to get these, you know, more people involved to make these people get it.
Yeah.
But they're worded in a way where it doesn't sound like that. It doesn't sound so tyrannical, but that's exactly what they're saying.
Yeah, and I think this is not going as planned, because when you have people like Joe Biden saying, you know, go and get it. Obviously, he's going to say that either way, but now he's like begging people, like almost literally on his knees, begging people to get the jab. And then you have Ohio, the state of Ohio, who said they're going to start a lottery, and they're going to give away $1 million in cash prizes to people who get the jab, because nobody wants it, so they need to incentivize people. And then you have like McDonald's saying, get your vaccine and Happy Meal, like total dystopian, like you know, slogan.
Yeah, I mean the whole donut thing started it off.
Yeah.
I think, but yeah, that article talked about all these states that were doing different things, giving lottery tickets, doing actually lottery drawings, like anything they could do to basically incentive for these people for people to do it. And then on top of that, it's almost like blackmail. It's almost like if we don't get to this certain number of people, you can't have your life back. You can't have your freedoms back.
Right.
That's literally what they're saying. Like, until we get to this number, you're just going to have to this is how it's got to be. I mean, so it's like if you want your life back, you
Yeah.
better get the shot.
Yeah, and they're even like telling, I think, ETB and welfare recipients that they might have to get it just to get their Obama biscuit or whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. That's exactly where I've said that years ago where they was going to use that, like, the healthcare system. That I feel more and more this is going towards socialist type. It's worse than that, but to put it on a simple level, we'll call it socialism. To get more and more people dependent on the government, all these people have lost jobs. There are a lot more people depending on this money, or even just not even dependent on, just sitting at home collecting free money because their government's just giving it out. But
Obama
at
biscuit
what
or
point does
whatever.
it become an incentive to you? Okay, you get this only if you play by these rules and do this. You're only going to get health care free from the government if you do this,
Yeah.
which will include getting all the cocoa shots.
Yeah, it's a form of holding them hostage or holding their welfare hostage and other things like government benefits hostage. For this thing that, according to conspiracy theorists who are obviously crazy,
Right.
is injecting nanobots into them. But
That's insane. That's crazy.
yeah, nobody would ever believe that.
Yeah, and I was actually, let's see, I was thinking there was, I had some there was a note where there was a video where, like, it was years ago, talking about that very thing. Like, it was called, like, the 9, like, technologies that were coming, that was going to basically be inside you soon, and that was like back in like 14 or something. And this is technology that doesn't exist,
Right.
but yet they're talking about how they're, it was back when they was talking about people running stuff, paying for stuff with chips in their arms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, as conveniences and stuff. But there was things
It's
that they could track your medical records. They was actually saying that they could use it to put a eugenic material into your body for, like, people who are overweight. And they're saying that they could basically pump a genetic material until it make them feel full so they didn't overeat. All kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah, it'll be able to manage your biology on a molecular level,
Yeah.
total control. And Klaus Schwab even said in an interview somewhat recently, it was actually in French, the interview, he said in the future people will be chipped and all their medical records and stuff like that will all be, inside that chip that is implanted into their body. He
Right.
said this in an interview. Obviously, he's the chairman of the World Economic Forum. So these are the same people who are in charge of the Great Reset Initiative, which says we need to reset everything and bring about basically
Build back better.
build back better. Yeah, and we're going to build back better with global communism. But
Right.
they just call it stakeholder capitalism, but it's really global communism. So there's a long list of things that basically coincides with what Agenda 2030 wants. So they all want the same thing, this sort of global world order in the name of the benefit of humanity, but it's fake, obviously, and they want that to reign supreme. They want to get rid of borders. They want to get rid of your autonomy. They actually say in one of their ads that the future will consist of you owning nothing and being happy.
Right.
And they want you to stop eating meat and not be able to own your own business. So you'll live in a pod and eat bugs. Abolition of private property. And they're all open about it. It's not a secret or anything. So and then they're saying they want to chip you. That's what he said. I mean, that's what he
Right.
said, and he even said,
I mean, when it comes down to it, this is like, it's setting up. Not to go biblical, but it is the beast system.
Yeah,
definitely.
definitely.
That's what it is. You can call it the New World Order, call it this, call it that. That's what it is. It's setting up for that one world reign for the beast.
Yeah,
But
no, it's in what the Bible says. Doesn't the Bible say?
one world government, one world currency, one world religion. It's one world everything. I mean, that's where they literally get the one world government from. It's
Yeah.
so like that's where it comes from. It's like it's straight out of the Bible. I mean, it's they're following this blueprint in which basically God said would happen, and some reason they're I don't know. I think some reason they think it's going to turn out different.
Yeah.
I don't know.
For some reason they think it's gonna turn out different. Yeah, I mean, if they read
it, and
it's
like
funny,
the playbook's right there, and they keep on going for it. It's like the other team having your playbook, and you think you're going to get away with it, man.
yeah. Well, it's true, and like people who might be watching this who say like, oh well, you don't know about what's going on with the World Economic Forum and the world government they're trying to create, and the fact they're trying to chip you openly, and they say it like openly. Also, you just got to read the Bible and how the Bible literally lays it out that this would happen. Mark of the beast, on the hand or on the forehead, and
and honestly, that's why I kind of turned away from even trying to like act like tell people that we can rise up against this. We can't. I mean, this is going to happen. It's like it's in the plans. It's just a matter of when. We don't know when it's going to happen, so we just can't give up and throw our hands up and not fight back in any way we can, because we don't know the timeline. So you don't just like want to let it steamroll in, but at the same time, this is going to happen. It's just a matter of when, and it does seem like it's going to happen sooner than later. But
yeah. Now, one thing I will say is they seem like they might be losing. I don't really know, but what I'm seeing, kind of, like I said, less people virtue signaling, but also I've noticed, because I'm on some dating apps because I'm single, and one thing I've noticed is that girls aren't like advertising the fact that they're vaxxed anymore. Like it used to, like for a good month and a half, you were seeing like every other girl I'd come across and like match with on this thing, they would say like I'm vaxxed and like
right.
they would it was like a virtue signaling prideful thing, but none of them say that now. I don't know what it is. Maybe the algorithm figured out I don't like those girls. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, it's like maybe this group that rushed out and got this, maybe they're realizing they're not the majority.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. Yo, I really think that's what I think you just hit the nail on the head. I think they were in their...
Just because we don't virtue signal like as much, like I feel like the more, I mean, I hate using the right-left paradigm because it's, that's all it is. It's a paradigm, but that's the only way I can really describe it and just keep it short. But most people that lean more conservative, right, don't seem to virtue signal their way they think or what politically or anything, unless you're a big time like Trump supporter or something like far right, just like there's a far left. But those people that stand just more conservative just want to just be. They just want to be. They don't sit there and have to flaunt their beliefs right in front of everybody and speak up. Most people don't like to speak their mind and be seen. So they just rather just live their lives. But I think you're going to get to that point where you push those people far enough, they will poke the bear.
Yeah, I do think I think you're right. I think they're starting to realize they're not in the majority, and that there were a lot of us that were sort of silently watching. Well, the silent majority, I think that it's an accurate term, because they use that to describe Trump voters in the 2016 election. But I think it's a true phenomenon, whether it's for Trump voters or people who are skeptical of the roll up your sleeve, right?
Yeah, I just saw. Did you see where is either South Carolina or North? One of those Carolinas, like there's actually having protests. I never even heard about it until like I just read some articles and came across it. So that's being totally blacked out in the media. But they're in certain towns. They're protesting it and basically trying to make it a law before they tried to force it on everybody and tried to have businesses force it on people. They're trying to cut it off at the head and say, we're just going to make a law right now, even though that's our right to not be jabbed. They're standing up and saying, we're going to make a law that says you cannot enforce.
Right.
the businesses to force us into this. So they're cutting it off at the head.
Yeah, that's
But
exactly
that's
what
not being talked about.
that's exactly what everybody should be doing in their own state and district. I know Florida has already done that, which man, Florida is absolutely crushing.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. It gets bad. We'll just meet. I'll meet you in Florida, man.
Yeah, no, I'm seriously considering, I've been considering it the past year, Florida or Texas. Texas is moving toward that too, and so is South Dakota. Some of and I think that's part of the reason why a lot of this is falling apart, because it's really hard for them to continue this whole this beast system with half the country not going along with it. And I don't think
the narrative right now can't be played out with
certain states.
You got, like 7, 8 states not going along with it.
Yeah, because then see, this is what, and my theory as to why this is kind of falling apart in the U.S. right now. Why I'm in a blue state and they're 100% open, no mask mandate. I'm in Rhode Island, and as of a week ago, no mask mandate, 100% open. And it's blue as blue state, So, and the reason is because, they couldn't hide the fact that, Florida, Texas, South Dakota, Montana were wide open, and even in the cities of these states, the past several months, even before anybody was getting jabbed, there were nobody, the hospitals weren't filling up. There wasn't it was exposed as just essentially a house, the whole thing.
Yeah. And you know that that's going to get you in trouble.
The YouTube community, the YouTube people don't know what I'm talking about. When I said it was exposed as a hoax, for all they know, I was just saying that I don't know these. I definitely wasn't saying the cocoa is a hoax. Okay.
But,
okay.
Yeah, but like you said, man, everything was dropping off well before they even got this cocoa stuff jab going, and then they couldn't hide it anymore. They couldn't hide the numbers. So then now you notice that it's not even about people getting sick. It's not about hospitals being overran. They can't. They're not even putting death counts anymore up because nobody's dying.
Yeah.
So it's all about a percentage of people. It's all about this jab. It always has been about pushing this jab. And now that's all they're focused on is reaching a certain percentage. That's all you hear about is how many people has been. But yet, okay, why are we doing this if there's nobody dying and the hospitals aren't overran? Honestly, there's not a problem.
Right. Yeah.
With everybody focused on how many people are being vaccinated now.
Well, the whole thing is too, with everybody I know, in my personal life, that are not only literally getting the jab and getting deathly sick, super, super sick. I mean, this is mainstream now, that this is you're gonna get sick, you're gonna get a fever, right. You're gonna get okay.
Yeah. You know what's crazy is it's so mainstream that people are literally asking for a couple days off work. No, they're going to get sick.
Dude, I am dead serious when I say this. I have coworkers that I work with in my day job that scheduled the jab and literally said, hey, I might have to call out the next couple days after that because I'm scheduled to get the jab this day. So this is people are lining up and willingly getting sick. I just
I'm some might say, I'm not saying I would say this, but some might say that your body reacts to, in ways like that when it gets poisoned. But
right. Some might say that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not
some
saying
might
that.
say that maybe your body is freaking out. Because some might say, only the crazy conspiracy theorists, of course, that nanobots are being injected in, but that can't be real.
No, or toxic metals, things that overstimulate the immune system too much that cause you to have immune disorders. But that's just crazy talk. But
yeah, we're not allowed to say that's real on YouTube. So, but anyway, so. Yeah, I've noticed in my area things obviously things opening back up, and in Oregon, dude, I covered this on the stream. I went over a lot of good information in that stream, which kind of pisses me off. But in Oregon, they actually passed a law that is the opposite of what Florida passed. So in Oregon now, you have to, as a business, ask for proof of the jab in order to let your customers go unmasked. So that's what they passed in Oregon. Luckily, I mean, that's not even being proposed yet where I live. And I think Oregon's going to be used as a beta test, is this going to actually
Well,
play?
I will tell you, it's not just them. There's corporations doing that because my wife works for one. I don't know. I'm not going to say what it is, but it's definitely intertwined with big pharma.
Yeah.
Just put it that way. And they're doing that. Like the messed up thing is, it's this out of all the companies, you would think this one be like, you're staying masked and all that, but no, they're letting up on all their stuff except for she had to take this computer like questionnaire, and if you say do not want to answer or have not had the vaccine, then you still have to wear your mask. But if you answer yes, I've had it, but if you are asked if you had it and you lie, they can terminate you. Like, so basically, it's an ultimatum. It's like, get it or stay masked.
Yeah, see, that's a clever way of them saying you don't have to answer, but if you don't answer,
we're assuming
yeah,
that you haven't.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting. So yeah, I think they're gonna try. They're definitely gonna try. They obviously have some problems with some states, like totally not even allowing like people asking businesses to ask for it, but I think you'll see a lot of these big box store types like Walmart try to beta test it and have pilots in certain states where they try to see if they can get away with having it required for entrance at these places. And obviously, it's definitely going to be under the auspices of.
Which would be crazy, like, because like Walmart is like one of the places that I've freely walked in and out of nonstop here, and like in the beginning they were strict, but about halfway through I've not been stopped one time walking into those. Like, yeah. It's been 50-50, like people wearing them, people not, at least in my area. And like, I'm in Indiana, so I'm like south of Indianapolis, so I'm kind of right in the middle of Indiana, which is more supposed to be conservative, but I don't know. Our governor's, I think he's playing for the other team.
Yeah. Well, where I am, during the whole entire pandemic, it was 100% masked up, everyone except me. I was the only one every time.
Yeah, it was mostly like that in most stores, like Targets. Tried to enforce it. Yeah. I never listened.
Yeah, and then and now, even when they first lifted the mask mandate in Rhode Island, everyone was still wearing the face diaper for like the first few days, and I was the only one still. But now, like literally the past 2 days, I've noticed like literally like a quarter of the people are going maskless now, and I think real soon it'll be like half the people.
Like, what's crazy? It's because the TV told them it's okay.
Oh yeah, no. It's wild. Well, the crazier part about it is even now you got people who are so fervently religious about it. Even when the TV's telling them it's okay, they're still like clutching to the mask.
Yeah. I'm so worried about other people. I don't know if they've had the jab. I don't know if they're autoimmune. It's all about. I'm doing it for everybody else.
Well, it's more than that. I think it's become a way for them to try to hide their soul in a way too. When they have the mask on, it's a security blanket over their face. And it's sort of like back when I was a teenager and I used to smoke weed. I used to love wearing sunglasses.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Because
Yeah.
like it would
I
hide the
get that.
fact that you're like stoned or something.
I think, I mean, some of it definitely could be that. I mean, yeah, you got this inner self awareness, like self conscious,
Yeah.
like I feel more comfortable being hidden.
Yes. Yes,
But
dude. I'm
I
telling
think
you,
it's also, you got these people are just
they're just
straight up.
scared. Like
They're so scared and they've been so traumatized that they're not going to let it go anytime soon, if ever.
yeah. No, it's
They might wear a
trauma.
mask they'll probably wear a mask every flu season, so-called flu season now,
Yeah.
like every year.
Yeah, no, I talked about on my stream. I think before that, I think that you'll have people even like even if this blows over, and 40 years later, you have like the millennial generation, especially old ladies wearing masks, even though nobody's wearing a mask.
Oh, dude, you know what scared me more than anything is I went to the mall, and it's the first time I've been to the mall since this whole thing, because that is in that side that was more strict with mask in that county. Um, I went in, and that's when I found out like they were not enforcing it at all. Like even the places that were, even the employees there weren't wearing masks anymore. Like everybody just all of a sudden dropped it overnight. I'm like, okay, it was killing everybody yesterday, but today we're good. All right, got
Yeah,
it.
I love how it's like in a day that
Yeah,
happens too.
but
Yeah,
what freaked me out the most, I literally was walking by and just like looking, I was like, this next generation, I'm like, we are screwed. I'm like, it was literally more of the younger school kid like ages wearing masks more than the adults.
yeah,
Like they've been so conditioned through the schools now and everything, and probably through the parents, they're not helping, obviously,
yeah,
that you don't have to force them to do anything. And that's kind of where I knew this was going with the different topic, but like gun control, with the whole school mass shootings, like mass shooting,
yeah,
Sandy and that one thing, but
yeah,
they kept happening every other day of every week,
yeah. Well, I think you're going to
but
see that. By the
I
way,
think it was just conditioning this next generation to where you're not going to have to convince them to give up guns. You're not going to have to convince them to do it because they're going to be so traumatized
right.
through these events and hate the idea of guns so much because of the trauma they've gone through with these schools and so-called, what they've gone through.
Yeah.
The government's putting them through that they'll willingly give up their rights.
Yeah. Well, I will say this, and like, well, first of all, to expand on the gun control thing a bit, I personally think after Sandy Hook, the result of that was supposed to be a nationwide assault weapons ban. Period, and I think they failed. That's my opinion.
100%.
Yeah.
It was the exact same thing. The exact same scenario, the exact same storyline that they pulled in. Was it Australia or something? It was the exact same scenario, and they got the guns from them.
Yep.
They all handed them over, like, oh, for the kids.
Yep. And ever since
we're regretting that right now.
ever since Sandy Hook happened, and I saw them fail with that, I have no doubt that was their intention, and I have no doubt they failed. It made me realize that these people definitely aren't invincible, and we can beat them. So that was good. So that's what I think, because now you're actually seeing. Although obviously some of the blue states, especially after Sandy Hook, took away a little more of your gun rights, a little bit more, but some of the red states actually expanded into constitutional carry after that.
And now that's why they're going after the ammo, and if they can
that's how they're
control the
getting it
ammo,
now.
if they can control.
That's what I was about to get at. They're instead they've gone after your pocketbooks, right, and your wallets in regards to being able to own and shoot at ranges and stuff. And it's had a dramatically effective result.
I think they're purposely holding out distribution, rather they're paying people off to not distribute this stuff as much,
Well,
make it as much.
Obama passed a law. it had something to do with manufacturing ammunition in the U.S. Ammunition ban. I'm trying to see if I can look it up. He passed some sort of law saying that we had to like outsource one crucial part of the production of ammunition. Bans is it ammunition imports? Something to do with the distribution or supply chain of ammunition, and then also there's been shortages and stuff with certain things, and then also with the riots, like people just went out and bought like a bunch of it. So
Yeah.
that all that contributing into each other, you have these ammo prices that are so ridiculous. What is it, like $1 a bullet now for like some of these?
And it's because there's such a shortage. I mean, it's like that's why it's like, I mean, I can probably find an AR-15 right now, but finding ammo for it.
Yeah. I mean, I have like I think 1,000 rounds of like 5.56 or something, and then some 223 for the AR. But it's I don't want to like keep buying more because it's just so
Right.
The prices, especially for 5.56, like and they're going after the AR-15. It's because the AR-15 is just so cheap and effective, and you're able to mod it, and it puts you.
I mean, we had fun with that one I brought out. That was my dad's though.
Yeah.
We had the 100 round barrel on it, man.
Oh yeah, the 100-round barrel. Yeah. I think I deleted all my videos, so I think I still have that in my.
I still have it on mine. I'm surprised that one, just us clowning around, never did get hit or anything. So
Yeah.
the only ones I pulled down was mentioned anything that had to do with the Sandy Hook and stuff like that. I pulled off my channel, but other than that,
I basically maybe 6 months ago deleted all my I put on private all my previous videos before that, because I couldn't go through all of them and comb through it, but they were just I was getting strikes left and right, and I never.
I don't know if are we live? Oh yeah, I don't know if we got any viewers. I can't see that. But
Yeah, we got like right now like 30, 40 viewers or something.
But yeah, if you would just let them know that Shawn Y is back up and running on YouTube.
Yeah. And what is it? Is it Shawn Y?
On YouTube, it's just Shawn Y.
Shawn Y. And then your BitChute is what is
this
it?
This Fallen Place.
This Fallen Place. Yeah. So so I'll leave links for in the description box after this too. Shawn Y. I don't know if everybody watching was around back in those days or not, but the golden years of the truth movement, man, right? The golden years.
Man. And it got pretty dramatic at times, and then slowly I just saw this all creeping in. But I think, like I said, I think all the censorship, and I think a lot of everything is just tied into where it's going. They have to cut people's communications off. I mean, they know that social media is one way that people can get together, and even if you're wanting to protest any of this stuff going on, how are you going to get a protest together? Through social media. But if it's anything that's anti whatever the media is saying, then
you'll be
they're
banned.
going to cut it off.
Yeah, they've done such a good job of doing that on the big platforms. Like Facebook's just garbage now, and when it comes to anything truth related or alternative media, and YouTube kind of is now. Well, no, YouTube you can still find some truth on YouTube, but it's like you got guys that
you got to be very careful. You got to be say.
Very careful, and it's slowly creeping toward just a Netflix, really, just Netflix Part 2,
right.
And then but man, if you go to BitChute, it's a little bit too truther. I don't know if you ever went on BitChute, but
I got a couple. It was like they kind of show you like videos that are supposed to be like your stuff. And some of the ones that I got sent to, I was like, no, that sounds like the old school like YouTube stuff. That was just like we would be like, you're a shill.
There's so many shills on BitChute, but there's a lot of good. There's a lot of great.
All the YouTube shills went over there now because
No, I mean,
They got to start cutting that off at the head, because they know that a lot of the people that all have moved over to there to speak truth.
Yeah, I started noticing about 6 months ago, right around the time of January 6th, right, to the so-called insurrection. We started seeing like a huge shill presence on BitChute. Like there were always some feds on BitChute, but now, now it's just like I haven't even checked over there, and so like I post on there, but I only watch Jeff Berwick over there. So I don't really watch like the top trending page like I used to, because for a while, and probably still, it's just all shills, literally all shills.
Yeah.
It was like all Q at the time, and it was all like, mass arrests are coming tomorrow, and then it doesn't.
Yeah.
I'd
say I had a buddy that I've been friends with for a long time, and just called me up and he'd start talking about that. I'm like, come on, man. I tried to talk some sense into him, and there was just.
Does he still believe it?
I don't know. I haven't talked to him in a while now. Ever since like all this, Trump's been out and nothing's happened. But yeah, I don't keep in touch with him as much. But yeah, like I tried to tell him, I was like, you didn't listen to me on this subject before. Then you came back to me. I was like, man, I should have listened, and I see this now. But he's one of those that he wasn't really a Christian and everything. Then he kind of like one day he called me up and came around. I was like, dude, everything you said has been true. I'm like, yeah, I know. He's like telling me stuff that I've like known for like a decade,
Yeah.
And like I'm like, yeah, I've been down that rabbit hole, man. And I was like. But he jumped in too deep and then jumped way to the other side and jumped into Q. And I'm like, oh, man.
Yeah, well, it's easy to get carried away. And, I will admit, like, back when I was, when I kind of first woke up, 2008 or 9, I kind of fell down that rabbit hole a little bit of, like, David Wilcock and, this sort of mass awakening that in some regards, there's an element of it that's true. Like there is, like especially right now, there is a big awakening going on. But
yeah, so I got an update. I did text Tim, my buddy, why I was on the phone.
Okay.
He said, tried it. He says, his words, I am not a master of magnetism with women or otherwise. It didn't work. Not.
Okay. Well.
So we did. It didn't work on it, but
yeah, no, yeah. I mean, it's one of those things that it's not going to work for everyone. That's for sure. Because I know some people that.
But like I said, I don't know how long ago that he got it.
Yeah, yeah. It depends, and then it probably depends on biology too. Like I was talking to Spiro, just like we had like a really small Twitter thread on Twitter. How he said that like, this topic intrigues me. I'd like to look more into it with the magnet trick, right? And then I responded and said like, how do I word this? I can confirm that this is definitely not real. My sister-in-law definitely didn't confirm this was real for me, and my dad's coworker definitely didn't confirm this is real for me, quote unquote. Wink, wink, a million times. So he said back, like, yeah, I've been hearing a lot of that from people I trust, but I tried it on, like, 2 people and it didn't work. And I was like, it probably depends on, when they got it, the brand they got, and their biology as well. Like, because, like, there's just so many factors that go into it. But the fact that it's working on a good amount of people, and it's going... Well, I'm sorry, not working on a good amount of people. That's a crazy conspiracy theory that people that think it's working.
Right.
This is hard, okay? Okay, look, World Health Organization, I'm trying, guys, I'm trying.
Well, I'm sure we've already slipped up plenty.
Look, like, hey, WHO, Susan Wojcicki, look, you're my boss. I want to do really good for you guys. I'm trying here. And I'm doing the best I can.
Perfect, right?
I can't help it. I'm autistic here.
But man, yeah, it's crazy. I agree. I don't know. Like,
yeah, it's all I know is like it.
My thoughts. People are like, oh, this untested, but it's been tested enough. Health
Well, my
Organization because
question
it said
is,
so.
hypothetically, if we're going to assume the crazy conspiracy theorists that definitely aren't right are right, what do you think this? What do you think the purpose is for this, and what is it? What would it be? Like
I
I would
mean, if
say
we
it
were
would
just
be.
gonna like think like these crazy conspiracy theorists, then I would say they're probably thinking something like, I don't know, population control or something crazy like that.
Yeah, but
You know,
like
uh, I don't know. Have you heard this? I can't remember if you've talked about this, but there's these crazy people out there. I think my wife's one of them too because she's mentioned this. I don't know. She might be nuts, but that people at her work they might be loony. I'm just saying this is crazy talk, not coming from me. This is what other people have said that it has messed with women's like cycles and menstrual periods
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
stuff like that.
Well,
And
yeah.
that is a absolute.
I think we're
From
allowed to say
what
that, but
they're
I'm not
saying.
sure. I'm not
But
because I've seen mainstream media report on that. We might be allowed to say it, but yeah, there's definitely been people who. I mean, it's definitely a fact that there are people who are claiming, whether they're right or not, whether it's based on science or not.
yeah, I mean, I'm just saying that's just
There are
some crazy
there,
person told us that.
yeah,
I'm
there are
just saying.
people who are claiming that it's messing a lot with menstrual cycles, and then there was the head of Pfizer, who came out and said that now this guy's a crazy conspiracy theorist, of course.
Now, if this crazy talk was true, I mean, and that was happening, could it be something messing with reproductive system
Yeah.
and ovaries? I mean, I don't know.
Well. The next thing is like, but why nanobots? Like, there are theories that say that it would connect to 5G or something, and that like it would be like something that would be able to control people, whether it's their mood or their biology or their
And
health
like
or
the other thing, outside of nanobots, it could be heavy metals.
yeah,
I'm just
yeah. No,
that's
that's what my buddy said too. Like when I espoused this theory, this crazy theory to him, that he said well, he goes, well, that's what happens when you put a bunch of like mercury and thimerosal and aluminum into somebody. And I'm like, well, aluminum isn't
the aluminum's
magnetized.
not, yeah. So it can't be that. I've already thought, but because I mean, they do pump a bunch of aluminum into some of these other vaccines, and I don't know if a lot of people know this or not, but it's not the so-called dead virus or whatever they're putting it in that's causing the reaction in your immune system to react. That's why they have to put that adjuvant in there. It's
to get it stimulated.
It's the aluminum and the mercury sticking to it that's causing that reaction, not the actual virus, because that dead virus isn't strong enough to cause a reaction. So they have to put that adjuvant in there.
Yeah.
But that's also doing a lot of other things. So
Yeah, who knows? Maybe it's really good for you. Go get whatever the World Health Organization says to do,
Right.
guys. That's what we espouse, and we are their employees.
yeah. And this is not medical advice whatsoever.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, check
No.
your ingredients.
Yeah, but yeah. So I don't know where this is going. Do you think they're going to get away with the vaccine passports in the U.S. at least? I think they might get away with it definitely in Canada.
In certain areas, in certain places.
Yeah. I mean, I think they'll probably get away with it maybe at concerts and at with international flights and stuff, and then other countries. It's gonna be tough for we're gonna have to move to the hills, man.
That's what I mean. It's like I think traveling, outside the U.S. absolutely. I mean, because once you leave the U.S., I mean, you all. I mean, whatever rights we still got are definitely gone then. So it's like, what grounds you got to stand on there if you live in the country. Buses, stuff like that. I don't know, man. It's like it just all depends. I think it's going to come down to the majority of people and if they push back or not and fight.
Yeah, I think you're right, man.
But the way things have gone, I don't have much faith in that.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say. The one interesting thing that I was thinking about, I think this might be their Achilles heel actually is because so obviously this system they're trying to bring forth, it's like it's economic communism in many ways, but especially it's like cultural Marxism, cultural communism with, Black Lives Matter and the LGBT thing, and then.
I really, it's a lot of stuff rolled into one. I mean, it's
Yeah.
fascism at some point.
But the black community is highly skeptical of the jab. And the problem they're going to have is if they roll out these vaccine passports, you're going to have a lot of people on the left that, are just bleeding heart sort of deceived cultural Marxists that aren't like controlled, directly, but, a lot, for the majority of them, they're just like the college kids, right?
Right.
They're going to see like a lot of these black folks and minorities that are refusing the jab, get excluded from society because of the vaccine passport. So like, you'll have literally like minorities and single moms and stuff starving, not able to get their welfare because they're like, I ain't getting that jab. And they're just like, like my pastor tells me not to get the jab. And then you'll have like I think you'll have a pretty big social justice backlash as a result, because so many, if they can't get the black folks and the minorities to take the jab, which they're failing on doing that because they just inherently don't trust authority. Can't blame them. I think that's a big hurdle they have that if they don't clear that hurdle, then it won't succeed in the U.S. It's a huge thing because you have so many people, whether it be like just your regular typical, like especially like black folks. It's like it's a well-known thing that a lot of them are just like, I ain't taking that shit, no way.
Right.
The black people I know are just like, and trust me, a lot of these are like, they're not like conservative or anything. They're not even like awake. They're just like, hell no. Like I don't care about any of that shit, but I ain't taking that job. I don't care what they tell me. Like that's just the way. Like, so I think that's like one of the main things, because there'll be a huge cultural backlash because of that. You'll have it could end up. They talk a lot about disparities that. As a result of like, school zones and stuff with black folks and whatever, and how they draw some of these lines with voting, and then all these other things that they talk about with economics and stuff that are supposedly like bad for the black community. But this would be one of those things that would be added to that list, and they can't afford that to be. It just wouldn't compute for a lot of like their NPCs.
Right.
So that's interesting. But actually, switching gears, what do you think about this UFO thing they're talking about now?
Woo. Dude, I will tell you, like I said, I just put up a video because we talked yesterday and kind of knew we'd hit on that a little bit, and that kind of reminded me that I was like, man, I did videos about this years ago, and then I went back through my videos, and like 7 years ago they were talking about this. And I don't know, I don't know if you want to pull it up or you just want to talk about it, but there was this video which I had in one of mine, and it was this Paul Hellyer guy was actually speaking. This is this is like a government official dude sitting there saying that basically, yeah, we know about extraterrestrials, and he literally admitted we got like 2 of them working for the government. It was like literally like,
I've heard about that.
No joke whatsoever, like being straight serious about it. This is talking to some kind of government official in on this topic. And
what was the guy's name?
It was like
Hellyer?
Paul Hellyer, yeah. Paul Hellyer, yeah, hell.
Hell.
But it would have probably been under like Paul Hellyer, ET works with government. Like they was literally calling it like ETs. But what caught my attention about the whole thing even more was the very last thing he said, which I in my latest video I spliced a clip from it, where he said that according to this journal, he said very respected journalist said as talking to abductees. This is like literally talking like to government officials and stuff in this courtroom type deal. I don't know if it was in Washington D.C. or what. I didn't really get the background of like where they, like what building they was in. But he's in there saying that well, one he quoted Rockefeller, the Trilateral Committee, the banking systems, all basically being wrapped into basically one world order. Admitted to it basically in this video, and then went on to say, yeah, we've been working with these ETs. We got two of them that work directly with the government. And then he said these, according to abductees, like it's a normal thing, that these beings seem to be more in touch with the Godhead, almost as angelic in a way. All kinds of crazy stuff. Which,
Yeah.
I mean, just really got into like a more biblical like sense. I was like, wow, dude. I was like, you just described like what that made me think of the Book of Enoch.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the Book of Enoch's interesting. I actually haven't read the Book of Enoch, but I know a little bit about it. But yeah, Paul Hellyer. This is the same guy, I'm pretty sure, and I covered that he talked about the fact that they're setting up quarantine camps in Canada at the end of last year for this cocoa thing. And he ended up being right, and he like went on. He's a Canadian. Well, he's former defense minister. I think this is the same guy now that he's a member of parliament. I think now. I could be wrong. It might have been somebody else, but I feel like Hellyer. But yeah, his name's Paul Hellyer, and so this is back in 2014. International Business Times. They talk about here that he came out and he said he was the former Canadian defense minister, and he came out and said that these ETs look just like us, and that there are 80 different species from places like Andromeda, the Pleiades, Zeta Reticuli. I love that word.
Video, he said that he mentioned this woman, which I didn't get no background on her. He just mentions her and says that she has confirmed like 3 species. And this was like, 7 years ago when I made this video. I don't know when that video was taken. So like in that video, he mentioned that they confirmed like 3 species. So that was like something else he iterated in that video. So
yeah. And
it's got to be the same guy.
Yeah, he went over the fact that there are like one species is like the Nordic blondes, the tall Nordic blondes. So this is something actually really interestingly the Nazis used to espouse too, that they were like descendants of these like Nordic aliens from the mountains or something. Anyway, but actually a lot more to talk about this. But I'm gonna use the restroom. You want to take like a 2-minute break?
Yeah, man, that's cool. I'm actually, if you want, I'm gonna pull up my video, and I don't have to like screen share or anything, but I'll play the audio for you. Like,
yeah, do it right now. Do it right now.
Oh, all right, cool.
All right.
Yeah, I'll get it pulled up, and then I'll go in, or I'll get it pulled up, and when you get back, I'll play it.
All right, cool. All right, yeah, I'll be right back.
I'm gonna grab a drink too.
Yeah, all right, I'll be right back.
I'm taking over the show, guys. All right. Let's see. I'm on my wife's side of the computer, so I pulled up YouTube, and it's her YouTube, but I'm going to look up my channel on her YouTube. So I don't want to sign her out and sign in on mine. Let's see here. I see how easily my videos don't show up in search. I literally can type in my name in my channel and it won't show up. Mm-hmm.
No.
I subscribe to it? Oh.
Yo.
Yeah. Oh, there I am.
You got it pulled up?
I found it. So I'm on Lacey's side, and I had to find my channel on her YouTube because I didn't want to sign her out. And if I type in my name in the search engine, it doesn't come up. It's so hard. Like, that's how bad the censorship is. They don't even want my channel showing up.
Yeah, you can't find anything now. You would think, like, these search algorithms, I was thinking too, because I was trying to search for an article earlier. They're like 10 times worse than they were like 10 years ago.
All right, so I pulled 2 clips from this video in the video I put up today, and if you want, I'll play them real quick. They're very short. Like, it was just the 2 sections I really wanted to highlight from the video, because he said a whole lot more in the full video, which in one of my other videos, I have the whole thing in, but yeah, I'll play it real quick if you don't mind. All right.
Say that there are live
Can you hear that?
ETs on Earth
Yep.
Okay.
at this present time.
Okay, I'm going to start it over.
Glad to have Linda this morning finally say that there are live ETs on Earth at this present time. And at least 2 of them probably working with the United States government.
All right. So that was him basically saying, yeah, there's two of them working with the United States government right now.
Wow.
And then we got this clip here. This is the part that made me do a video on this originally.
Abductees consistently report that the beings seem closer to the Godhead than we are, acting as messengers, guardian spirits, or angels, intermediaries between us and the divine source.
Yeah, so that's pretty deep there.
Yeah, no. It's very similar to what... Actually, could you turn that down? Because I'm getting an echo of myself.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I turned it, yeah. It's because I think it's because I'm playing it. I got Bose speakers, and they're kind of
loud. No, it's very similar to the information I used to research. It's all the same story that these ETs are the angels of the Bible, the cherubim, what is it? The
cherubs,
the cherubim, cherubim,
yeah.
And the Nephilim and stuff like that. And
so the Nephilim is a little bit. So the fallen angels. Biblically, if you want to talk biblically for a second, the fallen angels mated with the human women, and what came from them is the Nephilim. So that's right. So the Nephilim are basically the children of the fallen angels.
Right.
They were what is referred to as the giants and things like that. That's the Nephilim. That's what came out of the bloodline of these fallen angels. So that when they're talking about Nephilim and giants and stuff like that, that's what came from the fallen angels. So
yeah, and it's really interesting that the Nazis in part of their like sort of mythology that they were descendants of like the Nordic tall blondes that mated with giants in the hills or something.
Yeah, you can go through any of these cultures and stuff like that and hear stories like that. I mean, that's where I think a lot of these, ancient gods like people came from, like the Hercules stories and things like that, where basically they had like godlike powers and, you know,
Yeah, there's
seemed like
definitely
gods.
something to it. I don't know what but I mean the
Well,
idea
I mean,
here
every
is
story has a origin, and so if you had these beings that were, I mean, back in before the flood, it said these giants were like 3,000 cubic tall. That's 450 feet.
yeah,
So
huge.
we couldn't even fathom a being or thing like a person that big. And like even the Book of Enoch kind of hits on that too, where it's saying these beings were walking around and eating everything, people, the birds, the animals, and everything they could get their hands on, basically destroying the land.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I think a lot of that, Jack and Beanstalk, man. It's like the trolls, all that stuff. Like you see, fee fi fo fum, and I'm going to eat Jack.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like,
well, what do you think? So with this UFO thing, though, I think it's being pushed now because as the Bible talks about, and as many say, these fallen angels from the Bible are getting ready to reveal themselves. Either that, it's going to be a deception. Well, either way, it's a deception, but it's either going to be all fake or it's going to be like bad guys posing as good guys.
yeah, and that's exactly my thoughts. It's either going to be a total fake out, like deception, order out of chaos type deal to push whatever agenda they're wanting to push at that moment. Or, I mean, like I said, I talked about this years ago, where it could be like, I know we haven't talked about this much, but I've told you I believe in a pre-tribulation rapture. And if that's the case, which, I mean, biblically, that's what I believe it says, and there's going to be a lot of people disappear. And they're going to have to account for that.
They're going to explain it by saying they were abducted by aliens.
Yeah,
I've heard that
theory.
theory.
Something to that.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of subscribe more to the post-trib theory, but yeah, I mean, I see either way, like this UFO thing. So it's being pushed.
That's why you need to talk sometime, because
I definitely would like
sway you
to talk.
I don't sway anybody. I show people like in the Bible why that can't be.
Yeah, and I definitely like to talk about that. Maybe even a little bit in the show. But like, so this UFO thing though, they had on 60 Minutes a week ago. 2 UFO pilots. They dedicated a whole hour of primetime television to this, and what I talked about in the previous stream is, the fact that the media's like brought up aliens before, obviously, the past 50 years, but they've always brought it up in a joking way, or in almost as like a puff piece. They presented these news stories as either puff pieces, total jokes, or as crazy people that believed in it. So it was never taken seriously, but with this 60 Minutes piece, it's taken as a serious topic that needs to be discussed. And that is one thing that I've noticed is the reframing of this topic, the UFO and ET phenomenon topic, as something that's like, okay, this is really happening. We need to discuss this. It's a serious national security issue. And now it's being touted as this thing that even the normies, I feel like the normies almost even as the mainstream media is presenting it to them this way, they sort of either don't care because things are so bad anyway. It's like, well, what about COVID? They're like, well, what about the vaccine? So it's like UFOs, yeah. So what? Okay, they're real. Yeah, but what about the vaccine?
Yeah, I know.
Where can I get my roll up your sleeve, bro?
Like I say, it really is hard to see where they're going with this. I mean, like I said, I totally 100% believe that the fallen angels had something to do with giving people, maybe even ideas for technology that they would have never had.
Yeah.
Or, so there's some crazy stuff in the Bible that we don't even understand, man. There's even things that sound like
I mean, if we're gonna get
flying saucer like type,
if we're gonna get really deep as to like what I actually think is going on personally, because I know there might be a couple people watching, saying, "Hey, what do you think's really going on here with the grand scheme of things and everything?" And I don't get into this a lot because my strong suit and my sort of meat and potatoes content is really me just talking about facts I can prove, and the contradictions in the media, and the stories nobody's talking about, or the stories everybody's talking about but the wrong angle. Right. Like the meat and potatoes of like the facts, right? And the sort of information. But like what's really going on, like I really do think that there are like spiritual entities that are manipulating people who are in power. And David Icke used to talk about these things as like reptilians, but I think it's demonic entities that are literally like a spiritual element, and it's like a force of evil. It's like Satan that's like and demonic entities that are manipulating people in power and giving them technology.
Demons, I believe, are the disembodied Nephilim.
Yeah. Well, either way, I mean, I think these things are influencing, humanity in a lot of different ways, and I think, and I think that that's what this is going on. And the Bible does talk about that. We fight not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, and I think that's exactly what it was talking about. That this is a spiritual war, and a lot of people allude to this too. A lot of meat and potatoes people like myself will allude to this, that this is a spiritual war, and that's exactly what people mean when they say that. Like, this is literally a spiritual war with spirits.
Because it goes on to say, in kings in high places, it's not talking about just people, like high-powered people. It's talking about literal, like, evil presence in high places manipulating. Just like as Christians, we can be influenced by the Holy Spirit and guided. If these people are asking and inviting and invoking that demonic entity to entertain them, then they can. It's so if they're allowing that to be influence them, they can definitely be influenced.
Yeah, definitely. And I think a lot of these you have a lot of these elitists that are into the occult, and they have family histories of occult practices. And then you look at Bohemian Grove, and you look at the Rothschilds and their creepy, their creepy eyes wide shut type parties with Halloween masks and all this dress up they do, and the rituals and the spiritualism, and the occult layout of obviously Washington D.C. with the pentagram. And the owls. And,
I mean, it goes from the top all the way down to the bottom to the Freemasons. I mean, that's like a stepping stone into the occult. Like for some people, I mean, it's like it's just a good old boy group, and you get a little perks here and there. But once you get to the upper levels, it's they totally know. There's 33-degree masonries to like once you get up to that 32 and stuff, they know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly what they're into.
Yeah,
so it's all about deception.
So when I see 60 Minutes finally coming out saying this is a serious topic, when I see like Obama actually addressed this on a late night show about a week ago. They asked him about UFOs, and he's like, "Well, this is all real, and we don't know what they are, but they move in ways that we can't explain. They're moving at 90-degree angles at 13,000 miles an hour." He doesn't say it exactly like that, but he actually says,
"You're doing pretty good there." The little hesitations, No, I saw an article a little bit. I didn't read the whole thing, but I saw where he had said something about it.
Yeah, he presents it in a serious way, and then at the end he does make a quick joke where he goes, and maybe we have. Did I get shown the secret room with the alien body? Maybe, or something like that, So like this is
Well, you know who else talked about these things? Speaking of the cult, was Aleister Crowley,
oh
who
yeah.
actually made drawings, and these drawings looked exactly like what we would call, these green people, but he literally called them what they were, demons. He's like even said, I spoke to these demons. He called them demons, and the drawings he drew is what most people in sci-fi call aliens, and like so. It's like he knew what he was talking to and in messing with, but
Yeah.
so
So
I think that's exactly what these aliens are. They can, deceive people, and these demons, they can make you think whatever you want to think they are.
yeah, and yeah, I think we're gonna be entering a time where you have lights in the sky. They're gonna be faking something in the sky, and I really do think like they're gonna play this out because the Pentagon's already so supposedly confirmed UFOs are real. Like this is being taken really seriously now.
I mean, so you think going back to the old days when people used to talk about Project Blue Beam will come into effect, like something along that line, where they can actually manipulate what you see in the sky?
I'm 100% sure in some form or fashion
Yeah.
that an ET event, whether it's something kind of real or totally fake or whatever it is, obviously it's gonna be filled with lies in any case.
Oh, yeah.
And it's gonna be pre-planned and it's coming. I'm 100% sure, and I think we'll see it in our lifetime. I don't know when. I don't know. I do know it seems like the rhetoric and the narrative is ramping up quite a bit. I do know we're now in the roaring 20s. I think this decade's going to be wild. I think the New World Order.
Between the technology of God knows what they have. I mean,
No, yeah. I mean,
it's like I guarantee they have stuff that just blow our mind, and then the holograms and things like that they can do. I mean, I've seen what they show us. Who knows what they don't show us? So
Yeah.
it's like, who knows what they could probably pull off a pretty crazy deception. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of military insiders that have come out and said, the technology that some of these black ops projects and defense contractors have goes 30 years beyond what's released to the public or something like that. Just imagine. So, they probably had, cell phones like in the 50s, like shit like that. So I think
always 20 years or so, 50 years ahead of what they show us.
yeah. Well, the question is too, can they? They gotta not only fine tune it for the public, and then hide what they can and use what they can for defense purposes. But then they got to learn to mass produce it too. So a lot of the stuff will at first comes out as prototypes, but like so as we move toward this, you'll see it ramp up a lot more with the UFO thing. It's going to become a mainstream sort of topic, like it already is, but now it's going to become like something like that. Like I really do think you'll see an event happen above a city, some sort of UFO event. And then it'll be a national or a world news story where you have the president address it, and then they're going to come out and say, we have confirmed that these are ETs or something, and that we're in touch with them. They're telling us that we're in a lot of trouble because our carbon emissions, and we need to do all these things. I'm telling you. This is exactly how they're gonna roll it out. I know these people, right? It's gonna be like a global warming thing, and then also they might throw in some COVID or something. You got to go get the jab or something. I don't know about that, but definitely I think you got to think like a.
I mean, it goes back to that. What was that? The day the world stood still, and all those movies like the Alien movies. I don't know if you've ever seen those, but I mean that's what it was.
They're gonna be like, we have a team of specialists that are working with one of their ambassadors, and they can't show themselves, but they are, or maybe they will show one of them or something, and they'll say.
Wasn't the movie Knowing that was something like that? The Earth was about to blow up, and then the space people at the end. That's what it all led up to. Is like the kids, certain people were chosen to be taken away to another planet by the aliens.
I
Start
don't
over.
remember.
Yeah, I think it was knowing with yeah, and because he kept figuring out the numbers and dates of all these things, events happening and stuff, and then it ended. It was like a Mayan calendar type deal, but using like numerology and stuff, and
Yeah.
it all pointed to certain dates, and then it ended, and that's when you find out at the end there's a
Is
sun
that
that
with
has a big
Nicolas Cage?
yeah, it has a big
Yeah, I
solar
think I
flare and
remember
takes
that.
everybody out, but the
Everybody like burns up in a fire. Is it?
yeah,
Yeah.
except for the people that were chosen to be taken away by these aliens that supposedly put us here and start over on a new Earth. Yeah,
Yeah, there's been propaganda about it for a long time, but I mean, like, yeah. So I think that's how it's going to be rolled out. I really do, and people. Here's the thing. A lot of people might hear this, they might scoff. They'll be like, yeah, right, dude. You think this is really gonna like happen? They're really gonna say like Biden or the next president or something's gonna actually say they're in communication with aliens, telling them that we need carbon taxes? And I'm saying, yeah. And like you think that might not be the case, but how many people would have thought that they're going to lock down the entire planet for a year and a half, in 2019? How many people who would have believed you, So I think that's sort of, you don't think it's going to actually happen till it does, and then
Yeah.
you're like pinching yourself, like what the hell? And so I think a similar thing will happen where. Yeah, you'll have some sort. You can never pinpoint exactly how it's going to play out, obviously, and it's always going to play out a little differently than you actually think it will. But it's gonna be something along the lines of event in the skies that everybody sees, and it's going to be over even big cities in many cases, and it's going to keep getting more and more common to the point where. There's some sort of communication and it's like official, and then you have like Biden or somebody, whoever, the president up on TV actually literally telling you like we are in touch with these beings and they are telling us they've been studying us for the past 100 years, and they're saying that our carbon emissions are getting too bad. I'm telling you, we got to tax
if
the.
you don't think they could do it, I mean, like I said, if nobody's ever heard
telling
of that,
you.
go look up.
And then they
Project
might
Blue.
actually put one of them on TV or something, and it's gonna, like, I'm telling you, this is gonna be like everyone's gonna be talking about it, and it's gonna be like nobody's gonna believe it though,
I mean, look at all this like technology with the deep fake videos and stuff. I mean, they can do anything.
Yeah, and then you're gonna have NPCs, the guys drinking soy milk, taking their photos, like, and you're gonna have all these people saying that, like, we gotta worship these things, and then down the line, they'll start showing themselves more, and then you'll have like the I don't know, like, see, this is the thing, I don't know if like these are gonna be like real spiritual entities or some sort of entities that are like fallen angels, like the Bible says, and trying to get people to worship them or something, or it's going to just be a total hoax, or sort of like a combination of the two things. And it doesn't really matter because it's all deception anyway. And obviously, they're going to be telling you, world peace. We got to do the Great Reset, and we gotta tax farting cows and stuff. Like,
Right.
so that's sort of what. I'm predicting is coming.
Yeah.
But
I mean, then there's the Independence Day scenario where we go to war with the aliens and it brings the whole world together, and see, we got all joined together, one world government, one world this, one world that to fight the aliens.
Yeah, and the world currency will be Doge, right?
Jeez.
That'll be the world. That'll be the
I'm
world
telling you, man.
reserve.
It's like we're alive in a time that, I mean, nobody could even fathom, man. It's like stuff that's going on just in my lifetime, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
everything's changed so rapidly. I mean, there's 9/11 and so much has happened, and they just keep nicking at our rights. They keep just moving forward and forward more and more with this one world agenda, and it's like it's right there. I mean, I don't know how close we are, but as far as time wise goes, we're close. I mean, I'm not saying like days, years, or something like that. I mean, but I don't think we're too far off.
Yeah, we're very close. Anyway, we're going to end it on that note because the train's going by, and that means it's time for me to wrap up. But thanks everyone for coming. I see y'all in the chat. Greta sitting with the aliens screaming, "How dare you!"
She should be sitting right with them. How dare you?
How
Now
dare
look
you.
what you have done.
How dare
The
you.
aliens have come back to claim their territory.
How dare you? Yeah, and that's a good comment there, Subdue Light. And what up, Swale or Swale? I've seen you in my other chat. Crystal Jean, DC, Bratty Moonchild. Yeah, Tears in a Vial. What's up? Yeah. So I'm just saying hi to everyone, and everybody subscribe to Shawn Y on YouTube. I'm gonna leave a link for it once this video uploads. Shouldn't be too long after this. After I hit end stream, and then also on BitChute. What is it again?
Oh, this fallen place.
This Fallen Place. So. And then he'll probably have an Odyssey. What are you just gonna name that one?
I do have Odyssey. I do. It's the same as BitChute and Odyssey is the same. It's this fallen place on both of them. So I do have an Odyssey. I'm just not as smooth with it. Odyssey is a little hard to work with, man. It's I don't understand it much. It's they got their own little crypto type currency, and I think it costs currency to post is what I figured out. I don't know. It's weird.
I haven't. I still gotta set up my Odyssey too. But either way, BitChute, it's This Fallen Place and Shawn Y on YouTube. So yeah, I'll leave links for that. Other than that, I think we are all done. Anything else you want to say, Shawn?
No, I think we've about covered it, man. I just it was good chatting again, man. I have fun in these chats.
Yeah, for sure, man.
but yeah, that got me back in the swing of things, chatting with you. So I'm up and going again, and trying to make videos again. So there we go.
Yep, for sure, guys. All right, I'm out, guys. Peace out. I'll talk to y'all soon. Probably about 6 or 7 days in the main channel because I'm frozen out of my account because of my strike. But I'll talk to y'all soon. Maybe there or here. So have a good night. Peace out, guys.
Later.